Okay, I'll just quickly go through the PowerPoint with occupational health and safety, and so that you just get an overview of what's it all about. And then what we'll do is we'll quickly go over the computer basics as well. Next week we'll combine the week 3 and 4 together. Okay, so what we need to do here is show you the PowerPoint. And this is looking at health and safety and computer basics. Now, I suppose when we're looking at health and safety, where it's a very important thing with regard to computers, and we need to sort of respect and predict their practices and recommended practices. So there are a number of things that we need to be aware of, and they are with OHS, in the external environment and also the economic part as well. And I suppose when we look at the environmental part, it's things like damage caused or cords or leaves that are lying on the floor or something like that. Could also be overloaded power outlets and those sorts of things. So we need to be aware of those sorts of issues when we're looking at OHS. One interesting thing too is surge protectors. Has anyone got a surge protector? Rita, you've got a surge protector. Susan, you've got a surge protector. Okay, so
yeah, I've got a surge protector.
Yeah, they're very good use.
Not yet. I've got a laptop.
Okay. I think it's one important thing to have just to avoid power surges and obviously lightning strikes as well. Also, too, the surge protectors, the telephone line goes through it, so it's not only to protect surges through the mains, but also through telephones, because a lot of times lightning strikes hit the telephone wires, and then it comes through and can do damage to your computer. Okay, I'll move right along to the next slide, and that's looking at posture. So when we're looking at posture, we should be, no static position, move around in different postures to improve circulation. So there's no one utopia position. So for the least strain on your body, we should be keep open angle 90 degrees. Keep thighs roughly parallel to the floor. Recline slightly. Avoid pressure points, because one thing that we need to be aware of is that sometimes as we're sitting for a long period of time, that's what actually happens. We have pains in our body, and just adjusting and changing those will relieve those. Rest your feet flat on the floor and move around. One thing we're looking at with the monitor, sit directly in front of the monitor and arm's length away, eye level with 2 to 3 inches or 50 to 75 millimeters on the top of the screen, so you should be looking at predominantly the upper part of the screen, and tilt slightly backwards so that the bottom is slightly towards you. Keyboard, tilted keyboard, arms and wrists and fingers should be at 180. Don't hammer the keyboard and don't overstretch fingers. The mouse should be an easy reach. Do not lean your wrists on anything. Remove your hands from the mouse use alternative keyboard shortcuts and look at changing the right to the left-handed and vice versa. So with the shortcut keys, what sort of shortcut keys are you using with your computer? If you want to type something in the chat or you want to say something, that's cool. I suppose we've got control shortcuts. So what sort of control shortcuts have we got for different things? What's Control C? Anyone know? Okay, Control C is copy, and you've got Control V is paste, and Control X is cut. So you can see X, C, and V on the keypad is exactly the same orders which would say them, and the shortcuts predominantly used when you're cut, copying, and pasting. So X, C, V, cut, copy, and paste. Use those keys with Control. Now, when you're leaning, I suppose one thing with your wrist is that you should have a sort of a wrist support and sort of squishy plastic type of stuff, which make so that you don't put pressure on your wrist there. Avoid eye and neck strain. Take regular breaks, and every 90 minutes take a 15-minute rest period. Avoid screen reflection. Prevent straining of the neck. Use a document holder. So the worst thing is when you're using a document holder is that it's obviously straight on next to the computer, whereas if you didn't have it, then you'd be looking up and down at the computer screen, and obviously it's going to give you strain on your neck. How many people have got document holders? Just give us a tick there if you have got a document holder. Suzanne has one. Anyone else? I'm going to click on the tick or the cross. So they're quite handy things to have, especially if you can do a lot of typing on that. See a doctor if ANS pains and tingling fingers, headaches are problems. And you've got two things there that are very important to be aware of, RSI and OAS. How many people know about these syndromes? How many people have experienced or know of someone that's had something? You have, Suzanne, yeah. So it can really impact on one's life with regard to, I suppose, to work or whatever. And some people have to change their occupation just so that it's, able to survive, I suppose, but also not to sort of perpetuate that problem, because obviously you need to probably change of lifestyle anyway. So they say the best medicine is prevention. So I suppose some of the things to look at there is alternate repetitive tasks with non-repetitive tasks, maintaining the correct posture, exercise and stretches, and take heed of early symptoms. So if there are some symptoms, it's probably better to rest up, tell someone about it, go and see a doctor. So here's some of the exercises that are in the book also. So we've got forward wristband, backward wristband. We've got side neck stretch, arm stretch. And I'll just go through some of these. I won't list them all, reiterate those anyway. So it's really important to be aware that, taking rests and exercise is very, very important. Just, to avoid these things like this, it just ensures that you're healthy and have a good environment to work with a computer. Now the next part we're going to look at is the computers, and when we're looking at computers we've got input, process, output and storage. I suppose when we look at the different things there, we have all sorts of things with input devices would be keyboard, mouse, camera, webcam, all those sorts of things. Output device could be things like printer, could be plotter, and sometimes certain things are input-output devices as well. So for instance, a mobile phone could have something placed into it or taken off it, so there's pictures anyway. So things are becoming a bit blurred. Output devices are also a monitor, but it also can be an input where you're looking at touch screens. So I'll go through some of these anyway. So hardware, something you can touch, it's electronic, mechanical equipment makes up the computer, system unit input and output devices, storage unit devices and communication devices. Systems unit is what's made up of inside the box. So it's the electronic circuitry, the CPU, the RAM, the ROM, the card and the mouse. Outside, the input devices are mouse, keyboard, touchscreen, digital camera, microphone, scanner, trackball, light pen, and OCR, which is optical card reader. Output devices are printer, plotter, monitor, data projector, and speaker, and some of those things I talked about before. Storage, floppy disks, obviously now sort of really finished, I suppose. It's something that we're looking at with hard drives, optical discs, CDs, DVDs, and also the memory sticks. And I've got an array of different names anyway, so memory sticks, flash drives and other things for that matter. We've got communication devices, which are the means to communicate. These can be modem, and basically it's an input-output device, transferring and receiving data and programs from one computer to a secondary storage or another computer. Software it's something you can't really touch. I suppose it's designed by programmers with instructions. There's two different types of operating system. There's operating system software, so it's like Vista and XP 98 and those sorts of things. Application program is like in this, maybe 2007 application suite, 2003, 97. So we've got all these different types. So first of all, we have the operating system, and then on top of that, we have the application program. Memory, we've got RAM and ROM. Random access memory is the temporary memory, so it's the short-term memory, and ROM is embedded into the circuitry. Bits, a binary system is used to store and process data, consists of zeros and ones. Each key you press converts it into converts these into binary numbers, and these can be zeros and ones. When we're looking at bits, I suppose a group of 8 bits is a byte. 224 bytes is a kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes is a megabyte. 1024 megabytes is a gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes is a terabyte. And 1024 terabytes is 1 petabyte. So as you can see there, it just goes larger and larger, and most times what we're using there, or you may be familiar with, is gigabyte. And it's, I suppose the bigger the storage area, the more that you can obviously save with regard to multimedia files and those sorts of things. Okay, I'll stop there. Has anyone got any questions with regard to looking at the computer basics and the OHNet? Is everyone cool with that? No? No problem. Cool. What I'll do also, I'll just go to internet and email. Have a look. And I'll go through this one as well. So this is looking at the next part that I'm going to talk about is internet and email. And with the internet, there's a long history with the internet. I suppose with the internet, I suppose originally the Cold War was used, I suppose, by the States who got it going, and I suppose the reason why they got it going is that it distributed data and information across a broad area so that there was an attack that wouldn't impact on their information. It wouldn't cause too many problems because the information spread across a large area. Now, the history of the internet seems to have gone very quickly. I mean, the development seems to, developed, and a lot of these very speedy developments were caused by, I suppose, faster broadband connection and faster modems and other things for that, and accessibility of code such as HTML. But it was originally text-based. But now it's text, graphics, photograph, sounds, and video files. And the reason for this is because of the faster modems, as I said, the creation of HTML links and implications there, and the use of GUI, which is graphical user interface. So instead of typing in a command line, now we just move our mouse and use the pointer to access that. So the World Wide Web we think of as the internet, but in actual fact there's a lot more. The World Wide Web is developed in CERN in 1990. It was a WWW consortium and managed it. Some of the major players were AT&T, Adobe Systems, Microsoft, and Sun Microsystems. And they developed specifications and free reference software, which sort of really enabled that to, I suppose, encourage users to participate. So when we're looking at the internet, WWW, which stands for World Wide Web, it's a collection of electronic documents and web pages stored on a computer or computers or servers. the documents are linked together and it's called the internet. And it's really an intertwining of different paths to computers, linking of computers, and in some ways it's like a spider's web. So the web consists of your PC, it consists of the web browser, it consists of the connection to the ISP, it consists of the server, it consists of the router and switches, which are the traffic lights, to help direct the flow of data and obviously to be much more efficient, so there's no collisions, no accidents. The web pages are written in HTML. Each page has a unique address called a URL, which is a Uniform Resource Locator or a Universal Resource Locator. URL identifies which location on the server, contains hyperlinks to other pages as well. So websites often one theme. If you go to the CBU website, for instance, everything's under the scheme of learning. There may be sections like staff, current students, future students, but everything's grouped together. Now, with the website, there's a home page, and also home page contains links to other web pages on the site. And we have what they call HTML, which is Hypertext Markup Language, and it runs a multitude it can run on a multitude of operating systems, such as Mac, Windows, and other operating systems. So that's the reason why it's so popular. What I'll do is I'll share with my my computer here, and I'll see if I can show you some of the I'll show you a web page. Okay, so I've got this web page here. I'll just move it down. And if I want to see the code behind this, I can go View and Source. And as you can see there, that's my source. Just imagine a long time ago, it wasn't all that long ago really, people used to type this out. Now, there's all sorts of things there, but if you have a look at it, you can see a head. There's a open head. This is a closed head. Probably the easiest way to find it, so I'll just put head there. Yep. So we've got a closed head there. Often we do have a body, but I'll just take you through some of this as well. We've got meta tabs, and meta tabs are what the internet search engines use to locate the page. Okay, so meta terms would be meta tabs, should I say? For instance, the content shows explicitly the content, publisher, title as keywords. So it makes it much easier for users to locate that information. So a lot of corporations, they really spend a lot of time so that they can get the most hits, because so that at least they can sell things, and it's in their interest that they have, when you type in a name and then you click on OK, that's at the top of the list. And the one way of doing that is that they use meta tabs. Another is the hyperlink. And I'll just show you a hyperlink. So here we have a hyperlink. Let's see if there's a better example. Oh yeah, here we go. So the example is href, visiting that, click on contact us, the page, and then the anchor's finished. So it should actually be yeah, there we go. I'll just type it on next one. Href refers to a hyperlink, but with that, you click on the contact us, and that will bring you to that particular page. You don't actually see the HTML. All you see is this. Contact us. So I'll just close out of that for a minute. Let's minimize that. And sharing that. Let's go back to the original slide. Okay, so we can navigate using those hyperlinks as I said before. When you do use hyperlinks, they can be image, they can be buttons, they can be images. URLs are often hidden. Hyperlinks can bring up another web page, post sound, video, and also download files as well. You type in the URL into the location box and the browser, and then push enter, and that should bring that screen up there. Now you have got hotspots. And hotspots are when you move your mouse over the top of the icon changes to a hand, and often sometimes one graphic can have a multitude of different links, and you see that with the use of the mouse. Can I ask you a question? Have you guys experienced what they call image map? Just click on yes or no, and what I can do is I can quickly show you what an image map if you're not familiar. Okay, so we have 4 people not familiar with the image map. So what I'll do is I'll just share my desktop once more, and I'll look at showing you what I mean by image map. So I'll just do this now. Okay. So I'll just click on this. So we've got image map there. Now I'm just going to go to the BOM site, bam.com.au. Oh, I know not BOM. What am I getting here? Sorry. Okay, so we've got here one image, and it has multiple links. And I'm sure each one of you is familiar with this. You may not have known what it's actually called, but if I click on the NT or take me to the NT, so one graphic has a multitude of graphics, and they use what they call an image map. So anywhere when I'm clicking on within that bound of West Australia, it will take me to West Australia. In the bounds of NT, take me to the bound. Queensland the same. So it's a great way of, directing you to specific places. And I'm sure there are other websites with a map of the world, and you click on different paths, and it'll take you to those different paths as well. So definitely, since you know about them, you'll be able to really understand what they're all about. So I'll just end the sharing there. I'll just go back to that slide. Text links are usually blue and underlined, but once we've visited them, they change colour, and I'm sure that you would have experienced that when you went to Google or some of the search engines. So you can quite plainly see, yep, I've visited that. How does it work? Well, you type in the URL, press enter, and your page comes up. There's a lot of things that actually happen there. And first of all, it goes to what they call a DNS server. It's a domain name server. It looks up the URL, and I suppose computers look at numbers rather than text. So it compares a table of 2 columns, and it's going down there. Yep, I'm looking for Hotmail, looking for Hotmail, looking for Hotmail, looking for Hotmail. No, it's not there. Shoots it to another DNS server. Looks through that. Oh yes, I found the number. The number associated with Hotmail is 1234. Shoots it back to the computer, and then the computer requests that IP address through the net, and the web page is then interpreted and displayed. The connection's broken. It's quick as that. It can be a matter of a few seconds, it can be a matter of minutes, or depending on how big the website, how many graphics and movies and whatever are on this page. Now have a look at the anatomy of the URL. We've got upandaway.com/balloon/hotair. The HTTP is short for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the protocol used for indicating the type of documents there. www is the World Wide Web, and we have upandaway, which is the domain name. .com explains the type of organization. So we've got things like .gov, .com, .org, .mil, and other ones as well. So it tells us a little bit about the organization. And lastly, we've got balloons, which means it's a folder, which this web page hotair is in, which is balloons, and hotair.html is the page that's within balloons. Okay, let's go to the next page. The .com, corporation, EDU, education, .gov, government organisation, MIL, military, .net, network providers, and .org is non-profit organisation. Although that is not strictly true, but that's basically the general classification. Now, when we're looking at country code lists where it's from. So any website from Australia, go AU. Anything from the UK, JP is Japan, ES is Spain, FR is France, IT is Italy, and that's generally at just after the .com or the .edu or whatever. DE is Germany, US is United States, CN is China. So you got all these different denotations of the country area, so you can tell a lot from that URL address or the web address just by looking at it and taking time to break it down. Now we have other services. Now, if you said to me, yep, the World Wide Web is the internet. Well, strictly speaking, it's only one service, and there are many different services with reference to the internet. Okay, and some of the services are what they call FTP. There's other news ones. There's other ones with Gopher. So it's made up of a multitude of different services. World Wide Web is a big portion of that, but in actual fact, there are other services out there that allow people to get onto remote computers, view files or whatever. What I'll do here is I'll show you the site to go to if you want to. We'll just have a bit of an experience with the FTP, so I'll just share my desktop with you once more. Yep, I'll just minimize that and bring it over. And what I'll do now is I'll just show you, if you ever wanted to use the Uni computers, this is what you can do. So I'll just go to the home page. Here we go. And if I go to the library, I'll show you some instructions on just how to utilize that. So I've gone to library, clicked on training. Let's have a look. So these are different things that you can access with the library, and I will talk about these shortly. Just have a look at resources. Yep, that's the one. I click on frequently asked questions. Here's something quite interesting with the student, how to access the student account, and so they're using an FTP. Okay. So if I want to just check that out, all I'm going to paste that in there. Click on go. I want to access my student account, and that's an account that's on the CVU on the CVU in campus. So you can actually save your files here at the university, even if you're in Sydney or Melbourne or whatever. You could use a backup. This is how you do it. So you click on that address, studentsftp.cdu.edu.au, and if you are interested, I can email that to you. Put in your student email address, student number, with the S in front of it, and then your password. And if I click on that, now I should access my student folder structure, which is very useful. So I'm just saying to you that not only was there one service on the internet, but there's actually many different types of services. Close that down for a moment and that as well. Does everyone sort of understand that? I can just write that. That's what you'd write on the URL address to access your account from outside the university, and I'll just get back to where I was before, and I'll just type this one right here. That's FTP student. Okay, student FTP .cdu.edu. Okay. But if you do want to find, if you want me to put that as an announcement, that's cool. I can do that. We've got new sites. We've got Gopher, which is another type of service, which is text-based service that's used on the internet. And we have Telnet, which just allows you to get into the computer from remotely, remotely access a computer from over the internet. WAIS, which is Wide Area Information Server, which is a type of database that can be accessed over the internet, and also you can point to files as well. Okay. So what I've just covered there is sort of in week 1 and 2. Is there any questions on anything that we've covered? There's something called the deep web, and I'll just write this down for you as well. And I want you to maybe have a look at that tonight. I'll just clear that. And I think it's called the deep web. And it's sort of the invisible web. So if you want to have a look at that on, let's have a look on the site, which is the www.webpedia, I think it is, .com. That would be terms with regard to new IT. So if you ever do get something that's sort of very interesting, and you want to research that, you can look at that. But when you're looking at the net, I suppose when we're looking at it, it's sort of like an iceberg, and I'm not really good at drawing, but I'll try. And you've got the water here. So all you're really seeing, in fact, is this upper portion of the iceberg. And so there's a lot of stuff below the surface which is incorporated in database and Telnet and FTP and all sorts of other things that are going on that you don't really participate in. But because World Wide Web is just a portion of what's happening on the internet. Is there any questions? You're cool with everything? I think we'll end it there. And next week I'll talk about week 3 and 4 together. And I'll stop the archive anyway. Cool. And